Hi friends, it's Murph. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I thought I'd show you how I make a tuna casserole. This is my version. I'll talk you through it and it's pretty easy, so let's get started. So right now I have a half a stick of my favorite ingredient, and you all know what that is, butter, because it makes everything taste better. So in this pot I have a half a stick of butter, so a quarter of a cup of butter, and I've got it melted. I have it on about, well, this is on 6, so it's not quite medium high, but it's a little over medium. But I would not go quite to medium high, but you get my drift. Medium's fine. So it's just starting to bubble. I'm gonna try to move you around today so you can see everything because I don't have a camera crew, so it's just me. So it's just starting to bubble. Into it, I'm going to add a quarter cup of flour. So it's the same, it's a quarter cup of butter, quarter cup of flour. That's how I make a roux, okay? So I'm gonna take my little whisk, then I don't know where I got this, but I'm really mad that I only have one because this is the best thing ever. So I'm just going to stir that, and I'll bring you over to take a peek at what it looks like, and then I'll tell you my other steps. Okay, so this is all I'm doing, just incorporating it. Okay, I'm gonna put you back so I can show you a few more things while that is finishing. So what I did when the butter was melting, I had already cooked some noodles. So I like to have this on egg noodles, or with egg noodles in it. So this is what I use. This is a 12-ounce package. So what I've done is just drain them, and they're just cooling a little bit because I want to just have it all ready. I did put a tablespoon of butter, no kidding, put it in here just so it wouldn't stick, so the noodles would just be okay when I start to mix them up. Okay. So let's bring you back a little bit closer so you can see what's happening. I'll tilt you down just a little bit too. How's that? Okay. So it's bubbling. You can see that. So next I'm going to add a cup of milk. If you want to use cream, that's fine as well, but you just use regular milk, okay? You definitely want to have your whisk because you want it to be smooth. So if you think about what I'm doing right now, a lot of people, I know that I have in the past used like a cream of chicken soup when I've made a casserole like this. We're kind of making our own. Let's think about it like that. But this is what I have on hand. And if you've figured me out yet, I like to use what I have. I don't always want to run to the store because I don't have this or I don't have that. I look in the pantry and go, oh, this is what I have. I have a can of tuna. I had some noodles. Okay, so those are the things. That's how I try to cook. So this is okay, it's gonna thicken a little bit, but while it is, I'm gonna tell you, right now, all we have is butter and flour and milk. So if you think about that, there's no flavor. I mean, the butter has some flavor, of course, but we wanna add chicken flavor or chicken stock, something like that. So I'm gonna show you. This is my standby. I always have this base on hand. This one's chicken. I use a lot of that. So it's like wet. And then I also have this on hand. So this is, it says right here, a powdered bouillon. It comes in little packages. And if you read the back of it, it tells you 1 package equals 1 bouillon cube. I don't have a preference on either of these that I use. But today, we're gonna use the powdered bouillon. But I made this the other day, and I use the other bouillon, so it really doesn't matter. So you see how that's thickening up a little bit? Okay, so we have a few more things we want to do before it gets too thick, okay? So I've got it right now on medium. So I'm gonna add this seasoning and a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper. Now I want it to be creamy. So I'm going to add a quarter of a cup of sour cream. So this really isn't hard. That's it for ingredients for this. I'm not adding, excuse me, I'm not adding any salt right now. I'm not a big salt fan, but if you think about it, this kind of stuff is high in sodium. You can always add some salt later. You see that? It's look good. It smells yummy too. I'm gonna shut the burner off. Just make sure that sour cream is all stirred in. That's it. Let me just make sure I like it. Oh my God, that's so good. All right, let's just back up just a little bit. So, I shut the burner off because I'm ready to put it in my noodles. But right before I do, I'm gonna take a can of tuna. And this tuna, so there's the white albacore that I like when I make like a tuna sandwich. This is just regular tuna. I don't drain it at all. This kind of tuna right here, if I was to drain it, it would mush out the sides and there would be nothing really left in the can. But I want that extra juice. It'll help coat the noodles. It'll also help add extra flavor too. After all, this is a tuna noodle casserole. Okay, so that's done. Now we're gonna realign you so you can see my noodle dish, and we're gonna put it together, okay? This is it. Pour it right on top. Oh, it smells so good. I like tuna anyway. It's a comfort food, of course, with the noodles too. Yum. All right, let's give that a little stir. Make sure you can see that okay. So if you made this and you had leftovers, like say you want to take leftovers for lunch the next day, I would add a little bit of milk just to help it, because you know noodles absorb about anything we put on it anyway, whether it's sauce or you know, spaghetti sauce or anything like this. But I would add just a little bit of milk when you reheat it. Okay, so that's pretty much mixed. I'm going to mix it a little bit more, but I wanted to get the majority of it mixed before I add the peas. Don't turn your nose up. I like peas. If you don't want them, don't add them. Okay? But I like to mix it up first because what I don't want is mashed peas. I did drain them. This is about a half a can, or, you know, about a cup or so. Maybe a little bit more. You see it? I always have to have a blooper. See that one? That's why I wear an apron. Okay. So let's get that in. I sprayed a pan. Okay. I'm gonna put that right in there. Oh goodness. Nice and creamy. Looks yummy. I'll just give my hands a little bit of the rinse. Okay. Most important part. I remember this when I was a kid. This is the way my mother made it. So, yeah, I just kind of spread it out just a little bit so it's good. Take some chips that you have left over. We used to have a little bit of crumbs in the chip bag, and then we'd say, are we throwing these away? My mother would say, no, you gotta save them, you gotta save them. Because they make a great topping. They got some salt in them. They are crispy. So I just take a handful, and just kind of crunch them up. You can keep them in the bag, you can crunch them with a rolling pin. You can do whatever you want to do. You can put them in a little food processor if you have one. I like to leave some big chunks. I'll show you in just a second. As soon as I'm done, I'll show you a little bit closer. My mouth's watering already. This right here is a childhood classic for me. So it brings back childhood memories. I don't know. I've always liked these comfort casseroles anyway. And you know what? That really only took a few minutes to whip up. So it's easy on a weeknight or, you know, a day that it's cold. Okay. Now that my hands aren't quite so greasy, I'm going to pop this in the oven. Okay. So, let me tell you what I usually do. You can bake it at 350 if you want. But if you make it and it's nice and warm, the noodles are warm, the sauce just came off the stove, you mix it all together, you don't have to bake it for any length of time because there's nothing else you need to cook or heat up. The peas, we didn't have them heated up, but those would heat up fast just in the, once the sauce hit it. So what I actually do is just kind of broil it. But if I make the noodles ahead of time and let it set, and you know, when I'm doing some things, I will put it in the oven at 350, and you want to give it about a half an hour. You want the potato chips to crisp up. So what I did for this one is I just stuck it under the broiler. I don't really know why I got out this small plate because I ain't gonna do it. So hold on. Let's get out. That ought to do it, huh? All right, let's take a scoop of that. Oh my goodness. I wish you could taste it. Gonna get some peas and the chips. I hope my husband comes home from work sooner. It's gonna be gone because I really like it. Right now, if you wanted, you could add a little bit more salt and then go from there. I like it like this. I don't really add a lot of salt because like I said, I did get the salt from the chips. I'll post the recipe on my menu tab on my Facebook page under Murph's Kitchen. If you have any questions, reach out. I hope you like it and I hope you try it. I can't wait to share something soon with you again. Take care.